Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Giesling, and I have another Star Citizen opinion video for you. And it's based on this past weekend because I had the pleasure of going to my first ever CitizenCon. I flew in and out of LA on the same day, and it was well worth the trip. From such a positive event, however, every headline I've read about CitizenCon has been negative since reading them after the event. And that's pretty disconcerting. It's so disconcerting that I wanted to address it in my top 3 takeaways from CitizenCon 2016. So without any further ado, let's get to number 1. Number 1, Squadron 42 delayed. It's really unfortunate that some publications took this announcement to the extreme. One publication used the headline, Squadron 42 delayed indefinitely. This is extremely disturbing. It's disturbing because the problem with this is that if you're a casual Star Citizen fan, or maybe didn't even know much about the game at all, you might infer from that headline that Squadron 42 is being canceled. Delayed indefinitely sounds like something politicians would say when their campaign is over, but they really don't want to admit to it. It's disheartening because what I heard, and I had the chance to sit down and talk to one of the devs at CitizenCon, they said the Squadron 42 mission, was very close, but they don't want to show it until it's 1000% ready because they only get one shot to unveil Squadron 42 to the world. And that's the beauty of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. CIG gets to call their shot and decide when the heck they want to release it on their own timetable. They can release that Squadron 42 tech demo in that first mission loop whenever they're ready, and not 1 second sooner, as evident in CitizenCon. They still have to make Squadron 42 great, they still have to impress with Squadron 42, but they aren't rushed or doomed to release it based on publishers. I was truly expecting to see something from Squadron 42 at CitizenCon, and when that announcement was released, it did take some of the wind out of the sails at CitizenCon. There's not much you can do at the end of the day but really respect the decision. If they're that encouraged by what they've developed and don't want to show it 1 second sooner, there is an element of respect in that they don't want to release something that isn't up to their standards. I'm sure they could have shown it, or at least parts of it, hidden parts that may not have worked or worked around it with different camera angles, but it comes back to the question, why would they do that? It leads me to believe that Chris Roberts is a bit more open about Star Citizen and the issues they have to tackle with it, but with Squadron 42, I think he holds it a bit more closer to the chest, like the next true wing commander. He hasn't released a space epic in decades, and when it hits, I think he really wants it to hit, and I can't blame him for that. There's a lot of people expecting a lot of big things from Squadron 42, and I think at the top of that list is Chris Roberts himself. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Of course, it was disappointing being at CitizenCon and not having anything on Squadron 42. They did update us on some of the problems they're having and where they're at in the process. But at the end of the day, it's going to come out when it's ready. And while it's not going to come out in 2016, I don't think that's going to affect anyone that's eagerly awaiting it in 2017. My second takeaway from CitizenCon 2016 was the Planetside Tech they revealed. At Gamescom, we got a feel for what Planetside landing would be like, and how the envelope is truly being pushed. At CitizenCon, the most impressive thing I saw in-game was the fidelity and depth at the Planetside level. My experience with Planetside landings up until this point have been with No Man's Sky and Elite Dangerous, both of which are interesting in their own right, but not to the scale of Star Citizen. Seeing the sandstorm weather effects, the detail of the terrain, and the famous sandworm all made that planet in a simple tech demo come to life. It didn't feel like a lifeless planet of Elite Dangerous, no offense to Elite Dangerous fans out there, and this was just a simple tech demo. One of the more interesting things that happened was seeing Sean Tracy show off the tools that they used to actually make the planet come to life. While the Planetside Tech was impressive, seeing the tools they used and being able to paint their own canvases with relative ease because of the tools is what is most exciting about Star Citizen. CIG is able to edit and tweak and place assets in their toolset without having to recompile each build, which may not seem like a big deal, but it saves the devs an immense amount of time waiting and compiling, and instead they can use that time building the world we will inhabit as Star Citizens. My third and final takeaway from CitizenCon 2016 was how awesome the community is. The best part of CitizenCon was the community. To see 2,000 people who all share a passion for the same thing come together from all across the world to travel to LA was pretty impressive. There was an energy and general camaraderie amongst all people there, unlike anything I've seen at any other convention. One of the more moving parts of the convention was at the beginning when they showed a retrospective about the 4-year journey CIG has been on that documented and highlighted their past 4 years. In the audience, you got a true sense of appreciation that CIG really had shown to everyone that had supported Star Citizen across the world. One of the other things that was interesting to see from an organizational standpoint, and for those people that don't know, Star Citizen's equivalent of guilds are called organizations, but the largest organization in Star Citizen is called Test Squadron. And there was a Lannister type moment, a Lannister Game of Thrones type moment, where some people from Test Squadron were marching around with their test flag, much like you would see on a Game of Thrones battlefield, and the entire venue booing them in a tongue-in-cheek kind of way. That's the type of passion the community has, and that's what makes Star Citizen so special. After leaving CitizenCon, I really got a great sense of how this game is going to shake out. I don't see there's any way that Star Citizen or Squadron 42 is going to fail, for 2 reasons. Number 1, Chris Roberts and his burning desire to create something he's always imagined, paired with what I think is the most important ingredient behind that, which is the community. The community is the lifeblood of this game, and I believe Chris Roberts may have even said that during the presentation. But there's so many people that are actively involved in this process outside of the dev team and outside of the team that Chris Roberts has created because of how they interact with the community and how wide and vast and passionate the community is. I think the combination of Chris Roberts with the community behind him is going to be an awesome thing to see when it all comes to fruition. When that happens, no one knows, but I don't think there's a doubt in a passionate Star Citizen fan's mind that it is going to happen. I want to thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to watch this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys did, hitting the like button helps out a great deal. And if you enjoy Star Citizen content like this and want to see more gameplay videos, I encourage you to subscribe because I post a new Star Citizen video on the channel every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.